Hello, darlings. I am Cassandra. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming. In this video, I am going to do a book review for Damon Brand's Financial Transformation Magic. Now, this book is an upgraded system to his previous book, Wealth Magic. Now, this book review is it's not just any old book review, child. This is a confession. This is a let me hear me out, okay? So I completed the Wealth Magic program twice. I did. It's like 4.5 months or so, maybe even longer. I'm not sure how long it is, but I completed this program and I never cried once. I was never emotional. I was never sad. It was just, I loved it. I loved every moment of it. And yes, there is there's a ritual that includes a demon, but he was nice. You know what I'm saying? I had a ball. Yeah! I did it twice, and each time there were upgrades. There's a lot going on, right? But Damon Brand says that this book is, from my understanding, that if you are using this book, you can stop wherever you are and continue with this updated Wealth Magic program, which is the Financial Transformation Magic book. Like, this is a more sophisticated, upgraded version of this book, right? So now, if there is anybody out there who has completed this program twice, yeah, I have. And like I said, you work with these three angels. I think it was Atusul, Alubatel. Anyway, and they were supposed to bring, like, maybe sometimes people would, go through some type of emotional. I'm trying to stay away from the D word, you know what I'm saying? So basically, he said, nope, with this book, there would be no demons. There would be, this is a much more sophisticated system that will allow you to work through some of your blocks to wealth and prosperity. So I'm going to read, like I like to do when I do my book reviews. I'm going to read the back for you. But I just want to tell you that this book, Wealth Financial Transformation Magic, is an updated version. I don't want to say it's an updated version, but it is a new magical system for acquiring wealth that takes the place of his previous book, Wealth Magic. And as a person who has completed Wealth Magic, yeah, I'm only on the fourth ritual, and I gotta share this confession with you that has changed my life, and it's just keep listening, guys. So anyway, so Financial Transformation Magic, I'm going to read the back of the book for you, okay? He says, this book can help you rise from poverty, get out of debt, increase income, protect your earnings, build investments, and accumulate wealth. Wherever you begin, you get where you want to be faster than seems possible. Magic is more than myth, more than hype, more than hope. Magic gives you a real opportunity to summon the money you deserve. If you are filled with doubt, you have nothing to fear, as you can prove it to yourself in no time at all. Whether you work on a business, freelance, invest, or generate income in any way, the rituals you find in this book will bring rapid and lasting advantages. So anyway, I just want to stop there. Wait, no, I see the paragraph. He says, Financial Transformation Magic is a new system that supersedes Wealth Magic. This new wealth working covers more situations and possibilities with much simpler magic. It works without demons. I miss the demons. I do. How dare. Anyway, I'll tell you guys about why I miss them, okay? I'd rather deal with a legion of demons than what I had to deal with. All right, just keep listening. Anyway, so he said it works without demons or disruption, bringing only the change that's appropriate for you. The rituals put you in control so you can change the course of your entire financial life. Whether you need to clear debt, increase sales, or get someone to pay what they owe, this book has you covered. This is the most comprehensive magical system for solving money problems while attracting fortune and wealth. So I just kind of scanned through it. Some of it's kind of long, but the most important parts are there. Okay, so there are 24 rituals in this book, and they are various lengths. They some of them are 7 days. I think some maybe 17 days, 12 days, 11 days. I'm not sure. I haven't completed the rituals because it requires a sincere long-term commitment. But the rituals take about 5 minutes to complete. They are totally different than any magic I've ever seen before, or even their previous magic is different. Very different from this book, from the angels, all of the other books that the Gallery of Magic have published. This book is completely different. And when he says simpler, it is simpler. I've never seen the sigils before, and the time that it takes to complete the workings is less than 5 minutes. It really goes by fast. Okay. So anyway, Damon says in the beginning of the book, do not skip any of the rituals. That even if you don't feel that it pertains to you, or it has nothing to do with you, make sure that you complete the rituals. Otherwise, he can't be he can't be responsible for what happens if you choose to skip around and say, well, I don't want to do certain rituals. Now, as a teacher, I know that when I tell my students to do something, and sometimes I can they don't understand that there's always a reason, right? And they figure it out later. So I said, okay, I'm gonna follow these rules. I don't like to follow recipes when I'm cooking food, But I'm gonna follow the rules when it comes to a magical system, because I understand that you're working with energy and beings, and they've tested it, and I don't want to deal with the smoke. I don't want to deal with the smoke. I'm not following directions when I'm doing magic, right? So it's not like the food that you can just throw away and just go and buy something else. So anyway, I completed the first ritual, which was pretty easy. The second, the third, I get to the third ritual, and financial transformation. Look at this cover, guys. Isn't it bomb? I love this butterfly. I mean, like, butterflies to me. Look at that. It's so beautiful. Okay, let me get back. So anyway, ritual 3, he talks about not impressing other people with your money. Like, if you're trying to become wealthy because you really want to impress other people, that this magic is going to help you see and understand that people don't care about your money, and that you I don't want to say they care about your money, but that can be an empty goal. I want to read a little bit. It says, this is the ritual 3 is the golden silence. So this ritual is designed to help you release any dependence on the need to impress. Let me start over. It says this ritual is designed to help you release any dependence on the need to impress, so that wealth flows to you naturally without resistance or self-sabotage. And so he's just pretty much saying that if you let me go back to something that kind of makes a little more sense. Pretty much, if you're trying to make money just so you can impress other people, this magic is going to help you create money for yourself, and not because you think other people are, going to be impressed. And I thought, I don't need chapter 3. I don't need Ritual 3, Mr. Damon Brand. Not at all. Like, I'm not trying to impress anybody. Guys, let me tell you something. I don't own any diamonds, any gold, any expensive jewelry. I drive every car I've ever had. I bought it new. I paid it off completely until the car decided it needed to leave the planet for whatever reason. I usually afford, like, I'm just not that girl. Like, if I'm not interested in designer clothes. I'm bored by that. I don't even know how people get, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just, when I think about money, you know, and wanting to be a multi-millionaire and wanting to be successful, at least growing up, I always wanted to be successful so I could, you know, of course, buy a house for my mother, give my money to my friends, to my family. That was my fantasy. I used to always think I just want to be a multi-millionaire because I remember, you know, my family, you know, I'm dark skinned. I know sometimes the camera might show a different color, but I'm a dark skinned African American woman, and in our family they would call me Blackie, and I thought, you know what, when I get rich, I might be black, I might be, you know, dark, but I'm gonna have so much money and I'm gonna just give my money to all of my friends and my family and they're just gonna love me, right? And I didn't know that, you know, I wasn't thinking like I want to be rich so I can drive a nice car or buy a nice home for myself or buy jewelry. I've never had those aspirations. I just always wanted to make money so that I could give it away, right? So I was thinking, this chapter is not for me, Mr. Damon. I'm not trying to impress anybody, but I'm gonna do it because I don't want the smoke of not doing it and having some entity or spirit come to visit me. You know what I'm saying? Because I've made them. It was literally a mistake, but I know that it can happen. So I said, no, I'm going to follow the rules because I have a belief that you can't properly criticize anything unless you follow the rules. You know what I mean? You have to come back to a person and say, look, I did exactly as you told me to, and this didn't work. So I said, nope, it doesn't pertain to me, but I'm going to do it because I trust you. I'm not trying to impress anybody, right? So I'm doing the ritual, and you know, and of course I love ritual in terms of like waking up in the morning, meditating, working with my holy guardian angel, which is another book. Let me see where it's right here. I love this book. I work with this book. I'm still working on my success magic, right? And then I have this, you know, Bible that I'm reading, and I bought a different Bible, one that can like help me understand it better. Anyway, long story. So I like ritual. So I'm doing the ritual and I'm thinking it doesn't pertain to me, but I'm just following the rules. So I think this is like 3 days before Ritual 3 was ending, and I'm looking out the window and I'm staring at this tree that is it's just blossoming. You know how the little pink buds are coming in, and I'm just enjoying my day. It's super quiet. I'm gonna tell you something. Another thing I noticed is I used to spend a lot of time like on social media or just listening to different things. So I said I averaged about 6 hours a week. This is prior to doing this, and now I'm averaging about 2 hours a week on my iPad, and I didn't even do it on purpose. But anyway, long story short, so I'm staring out the window, and like a hard emotional rain, something came to me that just flooded me. All this time that I thought I was trying to I was in desperate search of wealth and fame, but I was really in search of love. And I wanted to be loved. And I didn't know that because And then I just got really emotional. I said, you know, I feel poorer, if that's a word, knowing that I need love, than my desperate search for wealth. That made me feel more vulnerable and more broken than anything that I had ever experienced. And like I said, this I never had this moment with the wealth magic, and I was just like, where are the demons? I was like, I'd rather deal with demons than this. And see, like, my parents told me, they said, look, as long as you get an education, you're never going to need a husband. You're never going to need anybody. You're not going to need a man. You're going to always be, you're never going to need anybody, because you will have your degree and you can take care of your soul. And you don't need a man. My father would always tell me, Mama, your degree is going to be your husband. So I was like, okay, well, I guess if I don't need a man and I'm never going to need anybody, and my parents would say things, and this was their saying. I was talking to my friend Tanya on the phone the other night, and she said she grew up with the same saying, God bless a child that has his own. I remember the whole saying, Mama may have and Papa may have, but God bless the child who has his own. That's what my parents used to preach to us all the time. You don't want to be a moocher. You don't want to be a user. It's better to give than receive. And my family would always say that something about the meek will inherit the earth, and that God loves poor people, but God doesn't. He loathes wealthy people because they're corrupt, because they hurt other people. And so there is all these, my father always say, never loan what you can't give. So whenever somebody asks you for money, you're supposed to give it to them. So I have this mindset, one, that you don't, and the other one was, if you acquire wealth, something bad can happen in exchange for that wealth. So this is just some of the things that was, how I was taught to believe about wanting to be wealthy. And so anyway, so I just thought, but I want to be wealthy then, because if my lips are too big and my skin is too dark, and I don't understand. Like, so I said, I guess I need to have money so that people will like me. But I didn't realize that I was in search of money to fill the void of not feeling love. Like, there was a hole and an emptiness and a void of not feeling loved. But I felt that if I had money, then people would love me, and people would want to be my friend, and that people would, you know what I mean? Because I'm not going to need so my parents was like, you don't need a man. So I think a man was like, if is associated with, a man's purpose is to give you money. And if you don't need money, then you don't need a man. So what's interesting is, prior to me, having this revelation that I was in search of money to fill this hole inside of my heart, of needing and wanting love, but could never admit that to myself. My brother just said to me, like, a few days ago, he said, Bae, he said, you don't need a man. You don't need anybody. He said, what is he going to do? Watch you make dolls? Watch you write books? Like, what he said, men like to feel needed, and no man is going to feel needed with you because you're too whole. You're so whole. What man wants you? Oh my God, guess what, guys? I'm making this video and I am not crying. Yes. Okay, because I didn't want that. Like, every day I was thinking about making it. I was tore down. I'm good. So yeah, so he was just like, men like to feel needed, and you are whole, you are drama free, you just you just want to make your dolls and write your books. What is he gonna do? Hold your camera while you make videos? He not gonna feel needed. He not gonna feel wanted in your life. And I was like, but so my family has conditioned me to believe that I don't need love. I just need money. And so when I would get money, I would always give it away, and I would always, to no matter who it was, whether it's my friends, whether it's my family. It's like I just couldn't keep it, and I realized I'm in debt. So you overbuy Christmas gifts, and somebody asks you for something, you give it to them, and you don't realize that you're really just hoping that somebody will love you, right? So anyway, I'm looking out the window and I realize that this search for wealth, even before I had student loan debt, even when I was I had 3 jobs and I was working and going to school, it was because I was trying to feel this hole, this loneliness, this emptiness inside of my heart, right? So that breakthrough broke me all the way down. That was the ritual 3. I thought, I'm so mad at Mr. Brand. I'm so mad at the guy. Like, this is dirty. Where's Clonic? I said, I'd rather deal with a legion of demons than deal with this revelation, deal with this pain. Like, it was just so much pain. I cried for 3 days. Like I couldn't. I was just like, I can't believe that I really just, that I've never felt loved, that I just feel like if I have to buy it, that I have to take care of myself and give to other people. But I didn't really realize that. But what if I just want a guy, a mate, because I wanted his kisses, or I wanted his love, or I wanted to wake up to him every day, or if, what if there's things about men that are more valuable than his money, like his companionship? Yeah, right. Like I didn't know that. Even my parents, I grew up in a 2-parent home, and my parents, I saw, they were married for 28 years, and they called each other buddy. And my dad, like, he would go on the porch and he would say, buddy, what did he say? He said, there's a cool breeze. He said, you coming? So he would say that to my mom, and he got his Faygo strawberry pop, and he's on the front porch, and my mother, she has her Crown Royal. She has a Crown Royal and her ginger ale, and they out on the porch laughing and talking. I mean, I saw a real relationship. You hear the coffee cups tinkling in the morning, having their coffee together. I'm like, no, you're not just with my dad for his money. There's his companionship, his love, his protection, his care, his, you know what I mean? Like, but you both of them have trained me. You don't need nobody. That's what you got your education for. That's what you got your own money for. So I just kind of like didn't understand. Okay, Cassandra, no, we're not doing that. Get it together. So I didn't understand that that money can't, that this, I think that money, you can't attract wealth with the wrong tools. So I kind of feel like, I know this is a bad example, but it's like you're trying to fish with a hammer. Yeah! Instead of a fishing net and a pole. It's like you're looking for wealth. You're working yourself to the bone. You're working like a dog. I got 2 masters. I got a doctorate. I got 5 college degrees. I dropped out of high school. Got all these, just working, because you feel so empty inside, because you don't even know what's missing, right? And then you're distant, because you're like, when I say distant, I mean it's like you don't even know that you're looking for love. So you get in relationships where there's just no, I wouldn't even call it a real relationship in my opinion. But anyway, So that was a breakthrough for me, because I still know that I want to be financially successful, but I know that now I can set, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know the difference. Like, I told myself, this is what I'm going to say. I told myself, now I'm not a girl who like designer clothes, because I said, I don't even have a plan. Like, I've never been a person who's like, oh, I want a house like this. I've always thought, I want the Jungle Beauty Goddesses book series to be a play, right? And these are the costumes that I want, because I love dialogue, and I want to build, I want them to have like a little quaint museum, like a house, and I want to have different scenes from the book set up in different rooms in the house. Like, that's how I think. If you ask me, like, what do you want your money for, Cassandra? I want a workshop, because I want to build, I want to sew a water buffalo. I want to sew a water buffalo for Katara. Like, this is what I think about, but I don't have the space. So when I think about money, I think about, ooh, I want to build this. I want a museum. I want to build, like, this is a giraffe. You can't see the whole thing here, but this is giraffe. And I think the giraffe belongs to Kalahari, but all of them have long story, get back. So anyway, I told myself I'm going to start thinking about, what do you want, Cassandra? Not what do you want to do for other people, and not you wanting to give your money away, or you wanting to even invest it in your, book or whatever. What do you want? What do you like? What do you like, Cassandrita? That's what I'm telling myself, right? That's what I'm breaking down for myself. So I'm still thinking about it, y'all. I'm still thinking about it, because I try to, look at expensive design. That's not me. I don't care about that. I don't care about cars. I still want my money for, I want to have a security in my old age, and and I like to travel some more, but I still want my museum. Yeah, right. Like, I can't. Now that I know that I want love, right? And then if I had $1 trillion, and this is I realized, if I had $1 trillion and I didn't have anybody important to share it with, I would still feel empty. I would still feel this, oh, I need to go do ABCD. I realized that I was not going to be satisfied with any amount of money, because money is not going to fill a hole in my heart, if that makes sense. So does that make sense? So I'm clear. That happened last week, and it was the biggest revelation of my life. I wished I had come to that realization sooner. Whew, I got that out of the way. And then the other thing, on the last day of Ritual 3, I want to share this. So you chant these words, and I'm not going to say what they are, because I don't want to get any copyright issues going on. And I'm chanting the words, and I'm looking at the sigil, and my ancestors, like, I feel them around me now. So my ancestors come through, because another part of, besides the fact that I, was using money to fill the hole of love, is that I come from a culture of cooperation and collective thinking. And so basically, when one person succeeds, sometimes they call you a sellout, or you have to think about the group before the individual. But in order to acquire wealth, you have to become an individual. There's no getting around that. So, like, if you are, so let me just give you an example. So guys, in one of my textbooks, when they give these national tests to see where all the students are, there's a math question they would give about how many bus tickets you would need to select the most economical package for you to get back and forth to school. So in this math question, I think it was for fourth graders, which is which package is the most economical package for getting back and forth to school. And they said African Americans and people of color, let's just I think it was but it was brown children. They said that they would always get this question wrong. And not all and not always, but it was we're looking at 76% would get this question wrong consistently across the United States about selecting the package of bus tickets that were most economical. And so the students repeatedly answered the wrong question. So the researchers decided we need to do a qualitative study because we need to talk to these kids, because do they not understand what economical mean? Do they not understand the question? Why Asian students was getting the question correctly, white students was getting the question correctly, but African Americans and I want to say Latinos, but what was Mexicans, it was the brown people, and they were getting it wrong. And they said we have to interview these kids. And so I would ask my students, what do you think the researchers found out? And they said, they didn't understand what the word economical meant. They didn't understand the question. But you know what? When they talked to the students, they all said, look, when they were selecting the package for bus tickets, they always included their family, their mom, their siblings, their cousins. And so they said, but no, this is just for you. This is just for you. And they said, but I can't imagine picking a package of bus tickets that didn't include my siblings. They didn't include my cousins, or they didn't include my parents. And so this is one of the questions that they decided to take out, because they realized that even with math, it's so cute to me. I've been teaching this for almost 30 years, and I still get choked up. That even when they're teaching something as simple as math, your value system come into play, right? So when you're a part of a cooperative culture, it's there's this mindset of you don't ever want to think you're better than anybody else. When I was a kid, whenever I would get new gym shoes or new clothes, I always would make it look worn, or I would go outside and put dirt on it, or I would try to wrinkle a shirt. I never wanted my friends to think that I had something new. This is when I was, my brothers were the same way. We never wanted our friends to be jealous of us, or to, so this is why this section was so, I was I don't need to do Ritual 3. It doesn't apply to me. But the other part of it is when you're a part of a collective, cooperative, cultural mindset, sometimes my father would give me an allowance. I would immediately go outside and spend the entire amount on all my friends. We would go to the little store across the street. I'm buying everybody now laters. If the ice cream truck came, I would come in the house on the day I received my allowance, and I'm outside. Just know I'm coming in the house without a dime, because I never wanted my friends to be jealous. And I wasn't trying to impress them. I felt bad that they didn't have a dad, because we lived in a neighborhood where we were the only ones that had a father. So I had different issues. So when I'm doing the Ritual 3 on the last day, my ancestors told me it was okay to shine. And they said, when you shine, we bask in your light. And so they were chanting. My ancestors were chanting the words for Ritual 3 in alto and baritone. And then in one of my past lifetimes, I was a sister, a Catholic nun, and they were and I've been around them my whole life, even in this lifetime. But in this, when I was doing this, the last day of Ritual 3, so I had my ancestors singing around me, chanting, telling me that it was okay for me to shine, and it was okay for me to grow and to let go. That, that they would still love me, and that it was okay for me to look out for myself. And then I had the sisters from a previous lifetime, and they're in this full habit, right? They're having the nun outfit, and they're singing like in this high soprano, and they were chanting the words, and I'm just like bawling, right? This is like, it was like clear as, they were all surrounding me, telling me it's okay to shine, it's okay. Like, it's like I was holding on to, if I acquire wealth, that I'm gonna, there's more like a communism type mindset does not allow for wealth. And when I say wealth, I mean like extreme wealth, but sometimes if you're blowing out your credit cards because you're buying gifts and that you can't afford, and you're doing things for other people that you can't afford, you can't get on your feet because you're busy trying to help everybody else, and so you stay in that same financial rut. So when I make decisions now, using credit cards or using overspending because I'm trying to help somebody else, even though I personally don't have it, you know what I'm saying? But they were telling me it's okay. We're gonna love you. We're not gonna feel that you're selling us out. We're not gonna feel that you don't care about other people. So that was another big part of Ritual 3. All right, that I wanted to share with you guys. So listen, that was a long story. If you are on a journey to acquiring wealth and prosperity and to live an abundant life, guys, you know what? I personally think, where's my book? I think you should buy this book, even if you don't do magic, because he talks about like living in a big house, and you may have like what do you call it, staff, and you don't know if you should talk around them. He talks about the drains that the things in your life that can drain your money, drain your wealth, that are so subtle, that he has magic to help you become invisible to, or to block. This is a good book. Now I read the what do you call it, not just the rituals, but he really goes into it. He talks about himself, but this is a really, really good book about money, to me, about acquiring wealth, and not some cliche life of driving a Lamborghini and living in a mansion. He goes into it in minutia of detail, and it's a very easy read. It's friendly, it's deep, it's, oh my God, I want to tell you my favorite quote though. This is my favorite quote in the book. Mr. Brand says, "Magic doesn't stop failure from happening. It stops failure from defeating you." That was one of his quotes. That was one thing he said that I really love. Like, when something happens, a lot of times people give up. And then the other thing he said is something. It was about magic. It clears the pathway. I don't want to get it wrong. You know how it is. You take your notes, and then let me see if I can find it. Anyway, I don't see it in my notes, and I don't want to make this video any longer than I have to. But guys, if you've been working tirelessly and giving endlessly, and you still feel unfulfilled, and you still want to be a multimillionaire, you want your money, child, I encourage you to read Financial Transformation Magick by Damon Brand. because I think this is a book. You know what? I think this is a book, in my personal opinion, that really unblocks anything in your soul or your energetic field that you're not aware of, that could be preventing you from having the life of your dream. I really hope this book review helps someone. I want to find my book again. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you, darlings, in the next